Hi, I'm Christy Conway with Charleston Home Design Magazine, and I'm here in this beautiful home in Wild Dunes with Sam Hiott of Advantage Elevators and the Smith family. And we're here to talk about elevators, obviously. How are you doing here, Sam?
I'm good. How are you, Christy?
I'm doing well. And you guys?
We're doing fine.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me in your home. It is truly beautiful, and the changes that you've made are incredible. How did you decide that you wanted to get an elevator?
Well, at our age, we decided we needed to have some way to get luggage to different floors, and since it's 4 stories, it gets a little hard to haul those. So an elevator made perfect sense.
4 floors, that's incredible. Were you just having to climb the stairs every single time? I mean, do people go to the 4th floor often?
We try not to.
Yeah, but now you can.
But now we can.
Okay, so now this isn't your only home, right? You have actually another home, am I correct?
That's correct. We have a mountain home in North Carolina.
So you're constantly in and out of this home with luggage, like you said.
Yes, we are.
So how did you find Sam and Advantage Elevators?
We went to the show at the auditorium and to specifically talk to the elevator companies who were there. And Sam was one of them, and after seeing the other elevator companies and talking with Sam, we knew that he had the elevator that we wanted. And so,
was it his personality, or was it what he was offering?
It was both. He's a great guy.
So what exactly have you installed in their home?
We installed a Home Elevators Direct hydraulic elevator package. It's an applied trim maple cab, clear acrylic doors. Again, it's a hydraulic elevator. Nice, smooth, quiet ride.
And is hydraulic common in homes?
More and more now it is. When home elevators first came out, you were more towards the cable drum, winding. A lot of people call it the electric elevator. There's a lot of them in the older homes downtown. Stuff like that. Still do them, but not quite as much. About 15, 20 years ago, I guess, hydraulics really started coming out in the residential elevator scene. So more and more as they go, there's a lot more now than what there used to be, just because people want a smoother ride, a quieter ride, and the longevity of it, actually, it's just long-term better for you, a little bit less moving parts.
Well, that's understandable. Now, you'd mentioned at one point that your hydraulic elevators are a little bit different than other hydraulic elevators, actually, right? That
is correct. Our hydraulic elevators, everything is powder coated. That's metal. It's all powder coated, especially being out here in the salt air, dealing with rust and everything else. My manufacturer powder coats everything to prevent any kind of rust or anything coming through. We also use an electronic valve for our hydraulic systems, which means you don't have the adjustments and everything that you do with the mechanical valve that everybody else uses. We're the only manufacturer of residential elevators that use an electronic valve in their home elevators.
In all of Charleston, you're the only supplier of this kind of hydraulic elevator?
Yes.
Wow, that's incredible. So now, what exactly makes that a little bit better than the mechanical valve? Can you explain that a little further?
The difference between the electronic valve and the mechanical valve. The electronic valve, one instance is oil viscosity. The change from the summer to the winter. For instance, this elevator, the mechanical room is downstairs in the garage, so it gets the heat and the cold with the change. So the electronic valve, it actually anticipates the change in the viscosity of the oil by itself, so I don't have to come back and change the settings on the valve due to the change of the viscosity of the oil and the temperature. Mechanical valve, you usually either in the wintertime have to put a tank heater on it to keep the oil hot, like it is in the summertime. If you install it in the summertime, you're going to set it to a specific setting, and then in the wintertime you're going to have to come back and either put a tank heater on or change the valve setting. And it's going to be twice a year when temperature changes in the summer and in the winter.
Yeah, we just had a temperature change 2 days ago. I mean, it was 80 degrees on Sunday, and it was like 60 when I woke up on Monday. So you're saying that people with mechanical valves would have to have someone come out, or, I mean, that seems like a huge hassle.
Well, a lot of times, it's there's a valve issue with the mechanical valves. It's not 100% of the time, but a lot of times you will have to come out and adjust the valve.
Well, that is definitely a benefit to your elevators, I would imagine. Now, do you do any kind of, not hydraulic, but the cable elevators if someone were to want that?
We don't offer the electric drum. I do have other manufacturers that I use to where I can get, machine roomless, or wine and drum. But usually people are very happy with the hydraulic. Our price point for our hydraulic is pretty much at the same price point as people's electric or winding drum unit. In the elevator market, usually your hydraulics are the top of the line, so they cost a little bit more money than the other products. But I have a great relationship with my manufacturer, so my price points also, I can keep it low. I don't have a lot of overhead, and I've got 4 employees, so I know that we can be competitive and offer a great product.
Yeah, you can pass that savings on to the homeowners. Exactly what was the process for creating this elevator? It seems pretty overwhelming. You actually added on to the house, is that right?
We had to raise the roof in order to have the elevator. Okay. But in the process, we did a lot of other remodeling also. But to start it, we found Sam, and that was a blessing. Oh, so we knew we had the elevator. Then we had to go to the ARC to get all the permits, and that took almost more time than Sam took to put the elevator in. So after everything was in place, and we had the builder already, everything went smoothly.
Okay. Now, one feature that I noticed about the elevator was the, you said acrylic door. Was that your choosing?
Yes, we chose that over being a solid door because if you have any claustrophobia, that would make a big difference. You know where you are all the time, and if you ever had a problem with the elevator, that would be a blessing.
Yeah, I took a ride in the elevator, and I noticed it was cool to be able to see the doors go by as we went up to the 4th floor. Was it your idea to get an elevator, or was it his? Were you considering moving? What was the kind of impetus to get the elevator?
Well, we'd been talking about it for about 10 years, and we finally decided he really didn't want to put an elevator in because we didn't have the exact application for it. So we were looking at other places, downsizing, even as far as assisted living areas. We couldn't find anything that suited either one of us, actually. So then we really got down to business and decided to put the elevator in. And that has made a terrific difference. We just can stay here till the end.
Now, what I was noticing from the exterior is you'd never know that you did so much work on the home, and I guess that's the point of, you said the ARC, the Architecture Review Committee, is that you'd never know that you got so much work done, but you had quite a project enclosing both porches. Have you, obviously you can stay here forever now. Has it increased your living space? Do you think it's more of a saleable home now?
It's definitely more saleable. Did not increase our living space. It only took up what was already there on the porches. Okay. So it really did make a big difference there.
Yeah, what I find interesting about this home is that it's not your typical, you'd mentioned before, with the stacked closets where it's easy, you just stick it in the shaft, right? The elevator shaft. It was involved quite some creativity. Now, were you involved in the planning process to be able to make this home kind of easily installable, I guess? Was that part of your plan, or did you work with someone?
No. Now, for For this application, I didn't actually plan where the elevator was going. They had already decided that once they had, figured out they were going to do the elevator. They pretty much knew where they wanted to put the elevator. Smiths, along with, I'm taking the contractor with Maintain Incorporated, they all came in and figured out where they were going to put it. Our end of the deal was once they figured that out and they started framing up, we come in and dictate the, try to get the best size that they can get for the shaft and the framing that goes inside the wall and the door layouts. So, we help on that aspect of it on this project. But they had already had it planned out where they wanted it to go and enclosed and all that. So.
But are you capable of planning this kind of layout, or do you always need a contractor or an architect?
No, we are. A lot of times we'll get a phone call from homeowners and they'll ask us to come out and see if we can't figure out where would the best spot for an elevator to go if they don't have a spot or they don't have closets already stacked for it. So a lot of times we will do that, and we help the customer out and try to achieve the goal to get it, because for me it's all about aesthetics. Okay, if you're going to put an elevator in, especially on the exterior or even in the interior, aesthetics has to play a key part, because you don't want to put an eyesore on your house. To me, it's all about making it look like it was built with the house, and that's a main, that's an important feature. So that's the main thing is aesthetics to me. So and you can probably achieve that because you do custom cab sizes, is that right? Yeah, everything we do is custom built. All our cabs are custom built, anywhere from a small cab to an extra large cab, up to 15 square feet, which is the maximum you're allowed by residential code for the interior space of the elevator cab itself. So pretty much a 5x5 shaft will get you a 15 square foot cab.
All right, so in this case, what was the square footage of this cab, you think?
Square footage of this cab is right at 13.5 to 14 square feet.
All right. So if someone like the Smiths want to get an elevator and they want to know more, do you have a website?
I do. It's www.advantageelevators.com.
And if they wanted to give you a call and talk about the project that they might have in mind, do you have a number that they can call?
We do. It's 843-475-3541.
Wonderful. Do you suggest that they check out your website first and get some information, or just call you directly?
No, absolutely. Go to the website. I also have a direct link to my manufacturer's website where you can look at drawings and stuff. If you're planning, you can look at standard drawings or oversized drawings. We've got photo galleries, some information there. So, yeah, definitely.
Great. Well, do you guys have anything else to say about the elevator? I know that it's pretty much changed your life here, but I think we discussed before we turned the cameras on, you actually have another home that you're thinking you might get an elevator there, right?
We only have 3 floors there, but I'm thinking if Sam will come up, we'll talk about it. Serious.
And that's in North Carolina, right?
Yes.
And he said that he'd be willing to do that.
He did. He said he has been to Asheville and Linville already. Okay. So we're waiting for him.
Well, that's perfect. Well, thank you so much. Oh, did you have something else to say?
Speaking of that, I don't travel a whole lot. I do for special occasions. I'm licensed nationally through the NAEC, and I'm licensed in Alabama, Florida, and Georgia as an elevator mechanic. So I can do all sorts of stuff.
Perfect. And did I hear that you might have something else to say?
No, one of my requests was make sure it's large enough to put a wheelchair in. Yeah, so, you could have put something smaller. You couldn't put a wheelchair, and I thought that was a real important factor.
Yeah, definitely.
As you get older, or from a selling standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for letting me into your home. It is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.